Alright, so we are going to be replacing the foam grill insert in an RCF Sub9006. We've had a few of these blow out at this point, so we've figured out the quickest, easiest way to replace this. So we'll get started. And then on this guy, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2 in the middle. And you're going to have to take out one side of this little cart catch that they have. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 here. There's also a bolt here, a bolt here, and then the same thing on the other side that you'll have to take out. And you're going to use a China. You're going to use a 4mm Allen head to remove these, and I recommend using a manual one just so you don't strip anything out. And then these three on the side here are going to be shorter, and you'll see a big difference in those. They're much shorter. And once you have everything out, I'm going to take this pick that I got from Harbor Freight, but any pick will work. And I just get behind the grill and I give it a little pull because the foam is glued in. There you have your grill. So that is out. We're going to clean all this up. But it's just shredding after a few years. Now I'm going to take much of this foam that I can rip off, because it's no good anymore. Throw it in the trash. I've got a little scraper. Get some of the excess that is stuck. I'm not worried about getting all of it. Just everything that'll stick out over the hexagon grill. Carefully backing out everything we can get here. And something to note on these side bolts, they go into a rubber thing here that holds a nut in there. If you can see that. And these can dry rot and start to break, and kind of like this one is. So if that does break, I've just been using hot glue to fix that on some of the other ones that I've done. But these four look to be in good enough shape that I'll be able to just screw that right back in. All right, we have got our mesh. And this stuff comes compressed. And they have a note that says to lay it out and let it expand. So we will do that. So we're gonna carefully open this up. A little trick you can do is you can pinch the tip of your knife and it only lets it cut that deep. So you can cut the outer layer of tape without cutting the actual item inside. We will stretch all this out and let it sit for a day, because right now it's really thin and compressed, but it'll expand out a little bit. All right, so we've got the grill. I've got it on some cardboard. You're gonna want another piece of cardboard ready, and I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just using this stuff. I got it at Lowe's. It's just contact cement, just a dry brush. We will get started. We're just going to put a layer of this on. I'm going to do it kind of heavy on this middle section, and then kind of heavy on these side sections, and then I want to just do it lightly on the grill, because you don't want it dripping through the grill onto the front. So I'm just basically wetting the brush and wetting the hexagon. And it'll give just enough stickiness to stick it without dripping through and making a mess. All right, and after you've gotten that nice and gluey, we're going to transfer this from one cardboard to the other, because you don't want anything that squeezed through sticking to your new foam. So all your foam that you're putting on will stick to this old cardboard. So you're going to move it to this one. We've got our foam. We're going to try not to let it drag on this, because you don't want to get glue on it. The glue will be visible from the front. Gotta be gentle with that. You're gonna tuck it in the corners. You're gonna tuck it underneath those bolts that have the rubber on it. Stick it to the sides the best you can. And try to get any wrinkles out if you can. This is some pretty nasty smelling stuff, so you'll want to do it in a ventilated area if you can. Rubbing it, forcing it down will activate the glue a little better, making it warm, sticking it a little better. I'm going to go ahead and take some scissors and cut off the excess. just so it's not hanging on it, for fear of it dragging it off. I'm doing a loose cut just to get the excess. I'm going to come back and trim it up after the glue dries. That way if there's any shrinkage or anything, it'll have room to breathe. There's probably a 2-inch, 1-inch overlap on each side. Plenty of wiggle room. You don't want to like squish it down, but I am going to lay some wood blocks on this just to make sure it doesn't curl up and come unstuck from the glue while it is drying. This stuff has a cure time of 72 hours, but we're probably going to leave it for a few hours. It'll be fine because we're going to compress it on the sub when we put the bolts back in. So we have been drying for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and make my final cuts. So I'm just going to be following the edge of the grill. And we are back. So we're going to take the grill, going to push it into the one side that has the cart adapter still on it. You're going to have to bend it just a little bit to get these rubber washers in on this side. But they'll kind of snap into place. Same on this side. And then some of these center holes, you may want to take your Allen wrench and just poke a hole. Make sure that that screw is not going to twist up the new foam grill that you put inside it. You're going to take your screws or bolts, the Allen bolts that we took out at the beginning, and I would hand start these so you don't strip them out. It's also going to keep the foam from wrapping up in it. Then on these outside ones, because it is held, the nut is held in by that rubber washer, you want to be careful to not overpressure. And it might be pulling the grill in and out so you find the hole, but you don't want to just force it because you'll push and break that rubber that's holding that nut. Once you got all that back in, you'll take your cart adapter, hold it back up there, put its screws back in. And then you should probably use your hand tool to tighten all these, just to keep yourself from grabbing that foam and twisting it up in there. If you do use a power tool, I would go to speed 1. I would turn your choke down pretty low and just go slow with it. You don't want to over tighten it because you'll squish that foam. And this is what we are using. It is that brand